Welcome back to Diving into Watches, and today we've got another watch review for you. An unusual one. It's a micro band called Aragon watches. Maybe you've heard of them, maybe you haven't. Been around for quite a while. Decent brand, mostly specializing in dive watches. We're going to be reviewing the watch. They have quite a few different styles they do. You can go check out their website, but we're going to be reviewing this particular watch here called it's their Dive Master series. He has several collections. The last name is Wing. I think he goes by Master Wing, is the designer, the developer, the builder of the company of Aragon watches. Primarily, all the movements he uses are NH35, NH36, but this latest one over my left shoulder here looks like he's moving up into ETA movements, so he's stepping up his movements, which is nice because the ETA movement's a really good movement, and it looks like he's stepping up into a higher movement. This is kind of going to be a review of a long-term review of a watch I've had for quite a while. You'll notice when I do the review, there's going to be some nicks, dings, and scratches on this. So you're going to get not only a review of the watch, but a long-term review of how it's held up over time and how it's performed. Because it's always, nice to see a new watch on how it looks and how it is, but you never see how the watch is held up over long-term, how it's turned out and how it's behaved and how it's performed over long-term. So you're going to get that, and you're going to get my overall thoughts. What I've been happy about the watch, what I haven't liked about the watch, and what I'd like to have seen improved about the watch. So with that, let's take it over to the bench. Let's get a review of it and see what we think. But before that, just a real quick wristwatch check. I am wearing today my Unimatic U1PA. This is my watch that I got from Exquisite Timepieces. This is the watch I absolutely love. It's the one they built as a tribute to the Italian Airborne. I did a review on this one. You can check it out. My page, one of my previous reviews I did is the tribute watch they built to the Italian Airborne Corps. So it's a great watch. I love it. Been wearing this for the last few days. Just can't get enough of it. But enough about that watch. Let's go over to the bench and let's review Aragon watches Dive Master. All right. So we got it over here on the bench. When you get it in, it comes in a box, but then it comes in this blue. It's not leather. It's probably like a pleather material. You can see on there it says Aragon on the box. Looking around the box, it's a pretty standard box. I've had this box for a while. You can see it's not super high quality. It's like it's coming up on the edges a little bit. It does. I noticed it does say Wing Engineered. Just your standard blue box. When you open it up, the watch is inside. It says Aragon inside. You're going to have the watch. Within it, you're just going to have the instruction manual. It's a pretty healthy manual. And then I've already had it sized, so I keep the extra links inside the box. It is I think it's a 1-year warranty. The company is out of Deerfield. I know I said Hong Kong or something like that, but they're actually out of Deerfield, Florida. So that's where everything's manufactured at Deerfield, Florida. I know it is a 1-year warranty because I do have another Aragon watch that the bezel fell off within 1 year, and then they didn't want to fix it. So that probably one of my bitches and gripes. That's probably one of the things I'll talk about. But let me go ahead and get it off the pillowcase here. We'll close up the case and move that off, and we'll go ahead and zoom in. We'll talk a little bit about the watch. Let's go ahead and get the dimensions out of the way here right first, because that's what everybody always wants to know right away. Case dimensions, it's 42 millimeters across. It is a rather wide watch. It is 51 from lug to lug, and it is 22 millimeter lug strap wise, and it is a very thick watch. It's 16 millimeters thick, so it is a big girl. It's a big watch. It's a hefty watch. You're going to see some scratches on the bezel and on the sapphire a little bit because I've been wearing this for a while, and what I do for a living, I tend to be pretty rough on watches. I'm retired military. This one I didn't wear while I was in the service, so this one did not get any field time. But what I do now for my civilian job, I can tend to be very tough on watches. It is an aluminum insert on the bezel, and it is a sapphire glass with an AR coating underneath. So you can see it is pretty good there. green bezel, green dial with sword hands and if you can really make it out there, but the minute hand is red and it has small indices, the green indices, green hands, and then it has minute markers in between the hands. Is an NH36 movement with a day and date adjust. It is a coin edge bezel, 120 click turn. It is a bit of a tight turn, if you can hear that, but it is a little bit hard to grasp just by the way. Got to kind of get your hands on it there, but it does line up right at the 12, so that is good. You can see some scratches up here on the aluminum bezel where I've dinged it, and there is a couple scratches in the sapphire glass, so I've whacked it pretty good. But it is held up over the time. It does have the Aragon emblem on the crown at the 3 o'clock. It is a very easily unscrewed crown. It's not hard. It's not difficult to unscrew. It does have crown guards on it. They don't protrude out all the way to protect the crown, just enough though that it does keep it from getting damaged, and it is easy to get to the crown. The whole case is brushed on the sides, brushed down in the lug area. It is an oyster bracelet. The bracelet is brushed. It is a deployment clasp with the safety over it. Has Aragon on the bottom of the clasp. Push button deployment. The safety clasp. It is pressed. I do not like that at all. But for what he charges for the watches with the retail, I picked this one up on sale. I think I picked it up on sale for like $150. I think the retail for $350. I picked it up on sale for 50% off. I think they had a buy one get one free, and I actually gifted one off to a friend, an army buddy. So yeah, you can see that they're not super expensive. Quality, they are a quality build. I was very happy with the build. I've had absolutely zero issues with this one, unlike the other one. But the clasp is where they're saving the money. It is a pressed bezel. I mean, a pressed clasp. But I've had no issues with it. It does hold up just fine. The back of the watch is a screw down crown. Nothing fancy on the back. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Get this to focus. It does say on this side over here, it does say Aragon, and it does say Dive Master. You can see the NH36 movement. Nothing blingy. He did not upgrade the rotor. So with an exhibition case back, you probably could have done without it, considering there's nothing fancy about an NH36 movement. Let me see if I can get that to focus. There's nothing fancy about the movement. So not a big deal having a display case back if you're not going to have a fancy anything special to look at in the movement. But it does give you the basics on the watch. You do have kind of the coin edge on the case back, kind of like a Rolex style, or the inserts if you would take it off. It does say on the front here, automatic professional, water resistant 200 meters, 660 feet, Japanese movement. So it is definitely water resistant. I have used it in the ocean. I have used it in the pool. There is no doubt about the water resistant. It is a chunky, heavy watch. There is no doubt about that. You're definitely going to get what you're paying for as far as if you're looking for a solid dive watch. I have no doubt on the water resistance. No complaints there. It is as I said earlier, it is a heavy watch. So you are going to feel it on your wrist. It does wear well on the wrist, though. There's no doubt about that. I'll give you a wrist shot in a second. It is comfortable to wear. The bracelet is a push pin replacement push pin collar here, so there's no screw down. The push pin, which I kind of expected, no big deal. You've got 3 micro adjustments right here. I have a 6 1/4 inch wrist, so you can see it's adjusted down pretty small. I have a very small wrist. You can do micro adjustments. So there is that. I will get you some wrist shots from outside. There's not a whole lot to say about this micro brand. He has a lot of different watches on his website. It does hold up very well. It does look it is a very attractive looking watch. It definitely has some DNA essence to it, to the Rolex Submariner, like many watches do, Clemage watches do. He pulls the DNA from there, but he definitely uh, uh, draws his own. It is a domed sapphire with a slope bezel on there. It is a good quality watch. I could definitely give it a recommend if you're looking for a solid tool watch that's going to take a lot of abuse and hold up to a lot of things you're going to put it through. This watch would stand up to it. I would recommend Aragon watches if you're looking for a good, solid, inexpensive tool watch. It's top quality. You're going to get that Seiko NH36 movement, so you know it's going to get a lifetime of reliability. You're not going to worry about it breaking down and having any problems with it. And as I said earlier, he is stepping up his movements and going to ETA movements. So that means that the price of the watches are going to be stepping up in price, but he is moving up his movements, which is nice to see because it seems like many of these micro brands are running the NH35 and NH36 movements. So that is nice to see. But overall, I've had this probably, I want to say a couple, well, no, probably more than that, probably 3 years now. So this is how it looks after 3 years of a lot of hardcore physical use, tool watch abuse outside, banging with tools, banging against buildings, etc. It's held up very, very well against the elements, against the water, against outside, being here in Arizona in the sun, smacking against buildings, walls, tools banging against it, and it only has some minor scratches on the bezel and on the sapphire glass. Even the bottom of the bracelet just has some minor scratches. So you can see that it wears very well over a long time. Over 3 years, it's done very well as far as the wear and tear, holding up very well and looking very, very good. So you can know that the reliability and the wear of the watch is good. If you don't wear it hard like I do and use it in a manual use kind of tool capacity I do, then your watch would wear a lot better over a long haul. But do know this is a heavy watch. It's going to be probably pushing 200 grams on your wrist. I don't notice it throughout the day. Let me go ahead and put it on and give you a couple wrist shots so you can see what it looks like. There it is on my 6¼ inch wrist. You can see even on a 6¼ inch wrist, it lays very nicely. It's very flat. The lug to lug does not hang over my wrist at all. So it's very flat, very comfortably. So even though it's a big chunky watch, it lays very, very well. Sits very, very good on my wrist. I have no complaints about the weight. I have no complaints about how it sits. It sits very good. So I would not worry about having a small wrist and putting this watch on. It's going to fit just fine. If you have a bigger wrist, then you're going to be just fine. This is going to fit just perfectly on your wrist. The buddy I gave to, he has probably a 7½, probably to 7¾ inch wrist, and it looks good on his wrist also. So there's definitely no issues there on his wrist also. Okay, folks, just real quick, I just want to take you to the Aragon website just to show you what I was talking about the cost and affordability of their watches. You can see here's their entire collection. I'm not going to go through their entire collection. Here is their, it's the ones I'm going to focus on. Here's their Dive Master series watches. And you can see there's the Dive Master TI, Dive Master 4, and the Dive Master 42. I'm just going to focus on the Dive Master 42 because these are the ones that are the closest to the watch that I have. That are the watch that I have is no longer being made by them. This is the Dive Master 42, which is closest to the series that I have, and this would probably be the one that I would go with if I was going to go with getting another Aragon watch and replacement. And since this looks like the one that's closest to the one that I have, this is the Aragon Dive Master 42 NH36, and you can see that it's the green dial, but it's a black bezel, but it's the day date also. This one's actually nicer than the one I have because it has the orange hand, green dial. It actually says Dive Master on there, but it's a black bezel. But it's the same case. I'm sorry, same bracelet, But the key thing down here is 42 millimeter sapphire glass with a reflective coating. Flip cage pushback deployment, ceramic bezel, which mine was not. Mine is aluminum bezel, so you get a nicer bezel. Superluminova index glow blue on the bezel. Mine does not have Superluminova on the bezel, and exhibition case back, which mine has. So this is actually a nicer looking watch. You can see that the bezel glows blue and the hands glow. So the big thing that everybody talks about the Addiedive is, oh, the bezel glows and this glows. Well, look, you can get a better quality, higher quality build, U.S. built watch than the Addiedive or the Pagani watches that are Chinese built, that have the loomed bezel that's ceramic and a loomed hands that are Superluminova. And you can see that the watch is just a much nicer quality build. 120 click bezel, oyster bracelet, brushed aluminum, 200 meter dive watch, 660 feet, NH36 movement, and it's going to cost you $179 versus Pagani's are like $150, and an Addiedive is like 110 on Amazon, I think. So, $180. You can get a much better quality bracelet, or a much better quality build watch built in the U.S. If you go to their sale, you can see watches on here. Let's go down here. 150. What do we get for 150? 150. You can pick up a bronze cased watch, 43 millimeter. That is. You can get a bronze case watch that's 143 millimeter. 43 millimeter bronze case watch that is NH35 automatic jewel. So it's NH35 Seiko movement, silicone bracelet, 200 meters, 60 feet, white glow blue dial with white glow green indicators. So look at that. You're going to get a loomed dial and a loomed hands, and it's going to be a bronze watch. And you can pick one up for $159. So I just think that Aragon's going to give you a better quality watch than what you can get from Pagani or Addiedive if you're looking for a really top-notch quality dive watch of superior build. Here is the Enforcer. I don't even know what the Enforcer is. He's got a lot of different watch builds. I was just trying to look at some prices on here. $139. This is the Dive Master. So this is the Dive Master NH36, but it's black face and a black ceramic bezel, orange hand. So this one is $139. So yeah, see, you can get a lot better build here from a micro brand, Aragon, which has been around a long time, and you're going to get the Seiko movement and the U.S. build watch. So go check them out. I have no affiliation with Aragon whatsoever. They're not a sponsor of mine. I own 2 watches by them, so they're not sponsoring me. I'm not getting anything for free for them. But go check them out. This is a good alternative to you. I would definitely recommend Aragon watches over a Pagani or an Addiedive any day. All right, folks, there you go. There's my quick down and dirty review of the Aragon watch, the Dive Master series. Just thinking about this, you know what? Considering how everybody's really into the Pagani and some of these Clemage watches that are really cheap in build quality and etc., I would tell you, go look at Aragon as far as a good equivalent cost alternative that is a solid tool watch that can take a beating, looks awesome, NH35, NH36 movement. He even has them in titanium for the $100 and $200 and $250. Go check out Aragon watches. I would buy one of these before I bought any Clemage, Pagani, Tavisi, Addiedive, any of those watches. I would go buy an Aragon any day. Yeah, it's not going to look like a Willard or a knockoff of an Omega or a Rolex, but it's unique, it's stylish, and it is a solid tool watch that you could take it will take a beating. I would wear this when I was in the military any day, and it would perform any day long, all day long. It's a solid quality watch. Probably the only gripe I have would be the bracelet. I would probably upgrade the bracelet myself, or maybe put it on a rubber bracelet if I was going to wear this when I was on active duty. but it is a quality watch, well worth the money. $150. That's what you're going to pay for a Pagani or an Addiedive, and it's going to last you 10 times as long and be 10 times the watch that those watches are. So I would give this one 2 thumbs up, and I would tell you, as an alternative to some of these other Clemence watches, go look at Aragon watches. You can't go wrong. The only other gripe I probably say is I would like to see these watch companies give a longer warranty than 1 year. If you say you got a quality watch and it's a solid watch, especially with it being a Seiko movement, why not 2 or 3 year warranty on your watch? I mean, it's a Seiko movement. The only thing that's going to go wrong is going to be in the build. But in the case of the Aragon watches, give it longer than a year watch. But good alternative. Some of these other watches. Tell me what you think. Do you have an Aragon watch? Do you like the Aragon watches? Go check them out. Put in their comments. Tell me what you think. I think it's a great alternative to some of these cheaper knockoff watches as far as build quality and cost for money. You can't beat it. $150, $40 more than a Pagani or a Addiedive, and you're gonna tell me, folks. Tell me if I'm prove me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You're gonna get a better watch than you can one of those ones off Amazon. Go to Aragon. You can't go wrong. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Stay tuned for more high quality videos we're going to be putting out. We got a lot more watches to review and a lot more watches to build for you. Thanks for watching, diving into watches, and we'll see you in the next one.